here doing the professional ones today, and nothing to go into social media. That's right, isn't it? Yes. Is that until you post first, or you
No, I don't want to post. I don't know how to post.
It's a Hello magazine exclusive.
Right, are you ready?
Yes, it's
Okay.
fishing, it's messing us with it.
That's him setting a present.
Ship prerogative. Well, isn't this very special to be here today? A very honoured few to witness this Renewal of Vows ceremony exactly 50 years ago today, since Eddie and Meg both said I do. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
And 50 years on, are you two ready to do it all over again? You want to, I think you'd be better out to see, I think.
No.
Perfect. Well,
She knows me.
before we start, and for those of you I don't know, I'm Caroline Mortimer, a registered celebrant with the charity Humanist Society Scotland, and it's a real privilege to have been asked by Meg and Eddie to come along and share today with you all. I'm here today to help Eddie and Meg celebrate the very best of what it means to be human, because a day like today highlights what really matters in life. Today's about the values we all share. It's about family and friends, about all of you coming together, because today, of course, is all about them, and above all, it's about love. And to start off today, you may or may not know that Eddie and Meg have been through a few wedding rings over the years. And so today, they'd love it if you would place a little well-wish or blessing upon their current rings. And we'll pop these into a little organza bag. And we're just going to pass them round. There's no rush, just take your time to hold the rings and pop a little blessing onto it for them so that they can carry that into the future with them. Okie dokie. And as the rings are being passed round, we'll take a wee walk down memory lane. Are you ready?
We've seen it, we know what's coming.
You see, we all know why we're here today, but what's the story of what brought us to this moment? Well, let me remind you of their story to date, the past 53 years, more or less, in their own words. So if you're all sitting comfortably, let me begin. Well, with Eddie at St Pat's High in Kilsyth and Meg at St Ninians in Kirkintilloch, it wasn't until Meg moved to Kilsyth that their paths would cross. Eddie remembers vividly seeing this girl with a yellow polo neck, wranglers and a pair of trainers on, walking with her cousins outside the welfare hall at the Friday night disco during the summer of 1970. And he thought to himself, she's nice. Meg, however, didn't notice Eddie at this time. And that was it until the 21st of January 1971, with it snowing outside, and they were out having a walk, and that was the night they did their first wee winch. And as the gentleman that Eddie is, that's when he was walking Meg home. But with Meg's first impressions of Eddie being that she thought he was a bit big-headed, and as there was someone else who had caught her eye, she then found herself in the difficult position of having to make a decision between the two boys. And Meg had told her mum that if Eddie phoned, she was to say that she wasn't in. But mum couldn't lie. And so with the right decision made, and Meg not two-timing Eddie anymore, they became boyfriend and girlfriend. Or in today's chat, they became exclusive. 3 years as a couple, literally growing up together, and the unexpected surprise news that they were expecting Keith prompted the marriage proposal. And after Meg's mum had read them both the riot act, she was delighted that in her eyes Eddie had done the right thing. And then finding out the news that it was a wee boy, well, that was just the icing on the cake. Married exactly 50 years ago today, on Saturday, the 6th of April 1974, by Father O'Brien at St Pat's Chapel in Kilsyth, with Meg's cousin Anne as her bridesmaid and Eddie's brother John as his best man, followed by a meal in the Flintlock room at the Beacon in Queensborough with family and friends, then an overnight in Edinburgh for their minimum. And married they may have been, but too young for the pub. They went to the pictures in Edinburgh to see The Graduate. And lying in bed the following morning with the "Do Not Disturb" sign on the hotel room door, of course the cleaners came barging in, hoovering away as they lay there. And then on the 12th of September 1974 they welcomed Keith into their world, staying with Meg's mum in Manch Road at the time for about 6 months, then to their own house in Hillview Avenue. And when Claire Louise was born on the 18th of March 1979, the family were in Coleshill View, a very happy home where they still live today with George, their beautiful Chihuahua, or as Keith likes to call him, Little Lord Fauntleroy. And I've only met him once and he might be spoiled, just a wee bit. Just a tiny bit. And when the kids were growing up, well, Keith was a great kid. That was, of course, until he crashed the car. Well, you have no idea what I know. And as for Claire's just sitting here petrified as well. And as for Claire, well, she got caught doing it. That was a nice way of covering over, And when their partners came along, they were welcomed into the family. That said, Pauline did have a wee bit of stalking to contend with when Eddie and Meg had their covert operation into Habitat in Glasgow where she worked, just to have a wee nosy and see what she looked like. Now I think it's safe to say that when it was time for the grandkids, Eddie and Meg were just made up, and they are always doing things for them now. Megan is their oldest, and obviously she's their favourite number one. Always looking for Papa to help with something, and she goes for a dinner with them every Wednesday. Megan had it all her own way for 5 years before Caitlin arrived. See, this is where it all comes in. Becoming their favourite number two granddaughter, who slept over one night when Mum and Dad were out, and she was a wee bit restless, so they kept checking in on her until she arrived at the living room door saying, "Caitlin's crying again." And here did it not turn out that Caitlin needed her bed to be up against the wall. So a quick reshuffle of the furniture and she slept all night. Aidan arrived next, their number one grandson, who liked to touch everything as a kid. Taking him to Edinburgh in the train one day, he set off the emergency stop button, which proved to them that trains don't just come to an emergency stop in these situations, they just slow down gradually. That was a good learning point, wasn't it? Needless to say, the inspector came along and they got a wee tailing off before the big day out in the city. And last but by no means least, Erin, their absolutely favourite youngest grandchild. And Erin might be the baby, but she might just be the most sensible of them all.
At the moment.
Early days. And Meg and Eddie love to hear about all the relationship advice she's been given to Caitlin. And it has to be said that her one-liners are pretty legendary. Now, just before Meg and Eddie renew their vows, we have a little surprise for you as well. You see, it would have been rude not to ask the grandkids for a little addition to the ceremony. So Megan, Caitlin, Aidan and Erin also sent me some words that they'd like me to share in this special day too. So let's start with Megan.
No. But I do it.
No, it's alright, I've got to help. You tell me I was just to send you that when I was saying that one. It's all right, don't worry. Well, Megan told me that she has very fond memories of being with her gran all the time when she was younger and going for lunch at the cafe with her and all her friends. She's so grateful that her gran and papa bought her first car, and she loves that her gran is her go-to for all the gossip, and her papa is her very own personal handyman. She loves going to dinner every Wednesday and being a beauty therapist for tinting Gran's eyebrows and trimming Papa's eyebrows and nose and ear hair. She does always count the photos on the wall and goes in a huff if there isn't more of her than anyone else. And she'll never forget the time her gran caught her drinking up the Colosseum. Drunk at 15 and thinking she would get killed. But then she soon realised that her gran wasn't a grasper. So Megan just wants to tell you both how much she loves and appreciates you, and she would be lost without you, and she feels very lucky to have you both as her grandparents. Well done, Megan.
Thanks, darling. Thanks, darling.
And now for Aidan. Well, Aidan, you've got to say yours yourself because yours were on your own. I'm only kidding. But because of the way Aidan sent me it, I do need to read it out as if I was Aidan.
Right.
Did this make sense? Yes, Jackie? So, Aidan said in his own words, Granny Meg and Papa Eddie, I am so lucky to have you both. Because when I get injured in football, which is quite a lot, yous drop everything to take me to hospital. Yous are my own personal paramedics. Like carrying me downstairs when I broke my knee, rushing mum to hospital when I was knocked out, and having to sit listening to me repeat myself all day. I wish I could remember. At least if I played for Celtic, yous wouldn't have the hassle. Maybe one day, eh? I bet yous can't wait for me to pass my driving test, as there will be no orthodontic appointments, physio appointments, Costco runs for Buckfast. But deep down, I know yous will miss this as I will. I will return the taxi runs as long as yous pay the petrol. As a boy, a few words. I just want to tell yous how lucky I am to have you both, and I love yous so much. Love, your number one boy, Aidan. I'm not finished yet. There was a wee PS. And the PS is not long till you need to buy me a car now. And now for Caelan and Erin, who worked together in their contribution. And this is what they had to say. Well, they always knew it was going to be a good weekend when they got to stay at their granny and papa's. And they'd get into the bar in the garden to drink some J2Os. Or, as I hear Granny calls them, JO2s. Not forgetting the four of them sharing a huge munchie box in the weekends they were staying over. And they loved when they got to get into Granny and Papa's hot tub in the garden until it burst. They fondly remember going to the Burn Green in the Colosseum and getting to ride the bikes. And who could forget Granny dancing and Papa dancing whenever their songs come on. But Granny's favourite song to Granny dance to being Dirty Old Town by the Pogues.
Wasn't it with songs in the background? That girl was on fire. One of my funeral songs. Not getting burned.
And then, of course, getting to use Papa's fancy computer to play games on was a thing of dreams. And Papa always taking the best pictures of the two of them with his fancy camera, whilst Granny had the biggest and craziest bag collection that they always wanted to steal. And as for holiday memories, well, up there with the best is Granny coming into the room singing I'm like a bird by Nelly Furtado with her shower cap on. Can you picture the scene? But above all is the resounding memories of Granny and Papa always making Caitlin and Erin laugh through everything and being the most caring, helpful and amazing grandparents they could ask for. That was just lovely. So thanks so much. So thank you so much to you all. That was fantastic. And I'll finish off what you told me with a wee poem from the grandkids for Granny and Papa. For all the times that we forgot to thank you, for all the special little things you do, for all the words that sometimes go unspoken, we need to say we love you both, we do. We love you for the way you stop and listen and for your kindness all throughout the years, for teaching us the meaning of compassion and sharing in our triumphs and our tears. And if at times we may have seemed ungrateful, we want to say we truly hope you know that nothing you have done has been forgotten, and day by day our love and feelings for you grow. I take another wee drink, would you go? No, you're right, you're right. Well, Meg has always given consideration to them renewing their vows on milestone anniversaries before, but now it absolutely feels like the right time. And it is also a great excuse to celebrate with you all and reaffirm their love for each other with their loved ones as witnesses. And now it is time for these two to renew their vows, and they've chosen to do so in a traditional manner of hand fasting. This moment being the anchor that holds your present and your past. Your present and your past and your future together. That's what do it for a second. The beginning of the next part of your journey that will last for the rest of your lives. And yes, today is one brief day in time, and although Eddie and Meg's vows, wait till you hear these, will be spoken in a matter of minutes, they are promises that will last a lifetime. Now, hand fasting is an ancient Celtic marriage ritual, and if you've ever wondered where the expression tying the knot came from, you're just about to find out. It is a symbolic way of showing that a couple are joined as one, and today I'll be tying two pieces of tartan around their joined hands as a way of confirming their continuing union. So, if you'd like to put your flowers just down on the table for me. And then, what I'm going to do is, what am I going to do?
I've got the script.
I'm just thinking he's only actually going to see, right, so if you just, as you wear, and then if you just do a natural hand, as if you're going to walk, right, just hat.
I'll be walking. Right, that day?
That'll do fine, as long as you've got a free hand. No, that's not going to do because I need to lift your hand up later, look. Right.
Done it in who's no bother to
Didn't
do
you
it.
bother?
You're nervous.
I'm nervous. It's just because we're standing at an angle.
That joke hit me intimidating.
Well, I'm wanting these pictures as well, you see. Okie dokie. So this first knot represents the past 50 years. And this second knot is a nod to what's to come. To what's to come. Okie dokie. Right, you can relax that now because you're going to end up. That's you. Eddie and Meg, today as you renew your vows in front of your family and friends, you're holding the hand that has worked alongside yours all these years and will continue to do so as together you build your future. These are the hands that will continue to love and cherish you and give you strength and support when you need it. And as your hands join together now, so may your hearts always be. So Meg, I might need to put your glasses on you now as well, depending on how we go with this. I'm going to give you the pleasure of doing your vows first. I could have done that.
Sorry.
That's all right. Can you read
can't
that
mix
at all?
That's all right.
Can you read that?
Aye, I can, thanks, darling.
You
Thank
sure?
I didn't so aye.
Right. See if it makes a difference putting them on.
No, it's fine, it's
She
fine.
might say something.
No, it's fine.
Oh, you're nervous. I'll put the fear in you.
Right. Eddie, 50 years on, looks like we made it, much to the surprise of many, including me. And as you know, at the beginning I didn't even like you. So you have been the best husband to me and I couldn't ask for any better. Married life hasn't always been a bed of roses for us, but we made it through the hard and the skint times together. You gave us a son and a daughter to be proud of, 3 gorgeous granddaughters and 1 big handsome grandson and a great daughter-in-law who are our world. 50 years ago our wedding vows were to have, to hold, for better, for worse, for richer or poorer, sickness and in health, and for as long as we have left together I will stand by these vows. Thanks for being my husband, my soulmate, and I know I don't often show it, but I do love you with all my heart.
I mean, it was how could I picked you to go first? I knew you were both going to be like this. Okay. Right, just take your time. We're in no rush. Everybody wants to hear it because you have done so well. They're lovely. They're lovely.
Margaret, 50 years ago today, we stood our marriage vows. Some called it puppy love. I said it would not last. They said, I bet they'll never make it. Well, look at us holding on, still together, going strong. That's your song. You've been my rock, my inspiration, but most of all, my best friend for all these 50 plus years. Therefore, today, in front of family and friends, I wish to express my undying love for you and promise to continue to love, honour and respect and protect you. Because you're still the one that I belong to, you're still the one I want for life, you're still the one I love, the only one I dream of, you're still the one I kiss tonight. I love you with everything I have, each and every day, and I'm so proud to call you Margaret Montgomery, my wife.
That hard on the first time round. They must have met me. 50 years worth of vows here. Eddie and Meg, this handfast symbolises the fact that together you are so much stronger than you are individually. So may the bond between you never come undone through the joys or sorrows you may face together. And may you always walk through life hand in hand, mind with mind, and heart to heart. And then if you just lift this up, we can congratulate them and tying their knots. There's your new knot that gets tied. Okay. Right, now. Okay. Now we all know that there are usually 2 rings in a marriage. There's the engagement ring first of all, and then of course there's a wedding ring. But as we heard earlier, Meg and Eddie have had a number of rings over the years for one reason or another. We don't need to get into that tonight. But in reality, there are always many, many, many more than 2 rings. And for Eddie and Meg, there's been adventure ring through the early years together, whilst stagger ring when they going for the pub, persevere ring when times were tough, encounter ring, highs and lows together, whilst considering each other in the decisions. There's been child bay ring, key ring, wallpaper ring, snow ring, right, I'm going to stop now. And today, now that you, the nearest and dearest, have all placed a little well wish on their rings for them, that they will now put these back on their fingers and they'll carry all of your blessings upon them. And forever, they will be a permanent reminder of the vows they've exchanged today. So, we've got the rings back with us at the front. Thank you so much. engagement ring. And then we'll have you next 3 rings. Okay. So, if you would like Eddie, if you take Meg's left hand in yours, turn around as if it was the day in itself, and then if you hold that out, and then if you pop Meg's rings back on her ring finger, please.
No.
There's only one left, so I'll get that one. Didn't realise the same.
And Meg, if you take Eddie's left hand in yours, please place. Please place his ring back on his ring finger. It's going to do it maybe quicker than expected. And it would be rude if I didn't make a little declaration at this point. Meg and Eddie, now that you've renewed your vows in my presence and in the presence of your beautiful family and friends, it is my very pleasant duty to confirm that you are still 100% legally married. And just as you'd have been invited to do by Father O'Brien exactly 50 years ago today, you may now have a wee kiss. Now, just before we conclude our ceremony today, Eddie and Meg are going to toast their future as they share a drink from their quaich. The quaich is a two-handled loving cup, and it's an ancient Scottish tradition that seals the bond of two people. By its shape, you need to use two hands to drink from it, and in days gone by, that reassured the Scottish clansmen that the other clan were not holding a sword behind their backs. It was a sign of openness, offering a hand in friendship and trust, all equally good traits in a marriage. And in drinking their Prosecco from their quaich, Meg and Eddie say cheers to 50 years and welcome what's to come. So, if we bring over your Prosecco.
Just suit everybody. No. Hopefully.
There we go, that's quaich. As you can see, I've got a right big quaich. I've not got one of these. Mine's just like a drinking challenge game. That's it. It's better for the photographs. That's it. Yes. I'm going to use one of your wee. Or your fancy clothes to go soaking wet, you see.
Well, just back in order.
Right, can I get your glasses, Eddie? What percent is it, Caroline? 10.5, it's not it's alright. Right,
Well, my
would you like to do the honours?
Anyway, my head's spilling out. I think it goes on that foaming line. It's pure waste.
That is a waste. Sorry, I'll
You
wait.
do all that with you see pop in my eyes. Right? Hey!
You both hold the bottle. Later.
What's the order?
If you both hold the bottle and pour some Prosecco in the quaich, as much as you think you can manage in a wee toast to your future. And Eddie, if you now take the quaich with two hands, and please now offer this to your wife, Meg.
Want a wee swally?
Meg, you take a wee sip.
A wee sip.
And then Meg, if there's any Prosecco left in it, offer this to Eddie.
Thank you so much.
Don't do the mixing, Dad.
Fantastic.
Get in there. Sorry.
What I'll do, I'm going to leave my quaich with you for tonight, and you can all have a wee drink out of their quaich to help them
Oh,
celebrate,
well,
and I'll
thank you,
get that at a later date when I'm out more with
Right, I'll get to you on.
Well,